All right, guys. So I know I just uploaded a video. So if you've seen the same hair and clothes and stuff, just mind your business. I just uploaded a video, and I thought about something after the fact. So notice I said in my last video that I was a mobile notary who does real estate transactions. I did not label myself as a loan signing agent. I know that is the hot word, the flavor of the month, to be a loan signing agent. So everybody's throwing that term out there, and yes, it is what you technically are doing, but I consider myself a mobile notary first, and I do a lot of real estate transactions. Yes, I do loans. Yes, I do refinances. Yes, I do reverse mortgages, and yes, I do applications and other loan transactions. But my bread and butter are investor properties. Now, the reason why I love investor properties are because the paperwork is shorter. So if it's a cash buyer, it's very minimum paperwork. Even if the buyer is getting a hard money loan, it's still a lot less paperwork in compared to a standard bank document or a bank loan transaction. And if it's a seller, I'm also able to get paid multiple times in some cases. Now, how I get paid multiple times is a transaction, or not transaction, is when the property needs curative work on it because it doesn't have a clear title, or because the owner is deceased. And when the owner is deceased, and here in Texas, we have something called a heirship affidavit. Now, that document allows the person who is in possession of the property to prove that they are related to the person who died. That way they are able to sell the home and regain the profit. The investor is allowed to come in and purchase the home from the seller, and they're both able to make money. Now, the reason why I charge $150 is because the investor does not pay for the heirship affidavit out of pocket. It goes on the seller side of the settlement statement. Now, because it goes on the seller side of the settlement statement, that means if the property doesn't close, I don't get paid. And I've done a lot of heirship affidavits that I have not gotten paid for to this day. And you know, that's just the risk I'm willing to take. Now, it is 2 pages. And when you do the heirship affidavit, sometimes you have to go to multiple locations. Every time I go to a different location to complete an heirship affidavit, I charge $150 per location, or per day that I have to do it. These are not really, these are investor properties. So you're dealing with homeowners or sellers who aren't always, I don't want to say stable, but this isn't always the best situation. Sometimes you're going to go to the property and you may have a witness there that refuses to sign because of something that's on the document, which means the document doesn't get signed, which means you leave and you have to come back. There are going to be times where you go to the property and it's not the most comfortable property. It may be a little sketchy. I mean, that's just what it is. Investor properties are sketchy, and that's fine. I love it. It doesn't bother me one bit, but sometimes it may be in an area that's not considerably safe. It may be in a very rural area that, I don't know, nobody can hear you scream. The property may be kind of old and dusty, so you may be walking into something that smells like animals or feces, or, you know, just something that has not been taken care of for years, and you have to retain a certain level of respect and dignity for this person and not let them know that you're uncomfortable, but sometimes you're just uncomfortable. So when you're doing these heirship affidavits and you're saying, hey, my fee is $150, that's why. Explain to the title company or the person who is doing the curative title, that's why you're charging what you're charging, because you run the risk of not being paid for it if the property doesn't close. And because this is an investor property, they don't always close. Like I said, I've done at least 2 handfuls of heirship affidavits that I've not been paid for. And I mean, that's okay. That's just a risk I'm willing to take. It's not a big deal. Also, here in Houston, traffic can be a nightmare. So Yes, they may live 30 minutes away, which isn't bad, but 30 minutes away in the middle of traffic can turn into a 45 minutes to hour commute one direction. And then you have the 45 minutes to an hour commute on your way home. So you have to kind of think about your time as well. And then sometimes there's relatives who just don't get along. So if you have to come out multiple days to do these heirship affidavits, that's also, you know, your time involved. So again, I'll explain why I charge $150 for these heirship affidavits, and that's how I'm able to get paid multiple times on the seller side of an investor property. One, you run the risk of not being paid. Two, you're not going to always be comfortable. You're going to be kind of uncomfortable doing these in certain properties. Not all properties, but in certain properties, you're going to run the risk of being uncomfortable. And two, you may have to come back multiple days if somebody refuses to sign off on one, or have to go to multiple locations. And I mean, I'm sorry, that's just part of your time. So if you do want to dip your foot in the investor side of real estate, which I encourage any mobile notary to do, it's a lot easier than standard loan transactions. I mean, I like both, but my heart is really in investment properties. Again, they are my bread and butter. They're about 60 to 70% of my monthly income. I would just encourage you to understand why you're going to charge the fees that you charge, and explain to whoever's sending you out to do the work, this is my fee and this is why. I mean, good luck out there.